In this episode, the F1 British Grand Prix, the Honey Badger is back, and sports car racing around the world. Welcome to episode 240 of the We Are Auto Show. What's up, Dirk?
Mr. Michael Rao, this past weekend there was a lot of racing, one of which the series, the WEC, was at Monza, which means that iRacing kind of follows that around. So we did a 24 at Monza.
Oh, 24 hours at Monza?
In the BMW GTP car.
Oh, that BMW LMDH, which doesn't even race in the WEC yet.
No. No, it doesn't. You're right. It's only an IMSA car. But we were racing it, and we got a podium.
Whoa!
Got
Let's
P3.
go, boys.
It was fun. I will say, that track, fairly boring.
Was the BMW still a bit of a handful to drive in iRacing?
It has had an update that has made it much easier.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Because it looks like a handful in real life.
It does.
I mean...
I don't know if it's had that real life update, but I hope for their sake it has.
I hope for their sake it has as well.
Yes.
But before we get into the actual WEC Monza race, let's talk about a little bit of F1, shall we?
Sure.
So, Formula One was in England land this past weekend.
The British Grand Prix.
Yep, British Grand Prix. And I would say qualifying particularly was a bit exciting.
Qualifying was great.
Yeah, the race even had a little bit of excitement just because of how the podium all shaped out. But regardless, when it came to qualifying, dude, there was some names that you don't expect to see there on up higher.
Not only that, but it was messy, rainy, chaos, and lots of fun to watch as a fan.
Yeah. Quali, you had Max Verstappen qualied P1, of course. Then P2 and 3. McLarens.
Yeah, boy.
You had a McLaren on the front row for the first time in when?
This season they had been struggling.
They just got some new upgrades for their cars.
Right.
Looks like they're helping.
Much better.
Because it was in quali, Max Verstappen P1, Lando Norris in a McLaren P2, Oscar Piastri in a McLaren P3. Then you had Ferrari, Mercedes, then a Williams in P8. A Williams made it to Q3.
That's wild.
You know who didn't make it to Q3?
Who?
Checo Perez.
He is just consecutively messing up quali.
He's
Every week that F1 runs, he's like, how can I screw up qualifying as bad as possible?
He's not doing great. I'm
No.
going to be honest. He's not doing ideal. He
He's
got
getting
out-qualied by Logan Sargent.
He's getting the boot from that team next season. I can almost guarantee it.
It looks like it.
Yeah, unfortunate for him.
Yeah.
But this race was actually pretty darn fun to watch. Quali was awesome. The race did have some moments. In the beginning, it was fun to see Lando try to catch Max. Did you happen to see
He actually did pass him into the first corner.
You're right, he did. Did you happen to see his post-qualifying interview?
No.
He immediately got on there and he's like, man, we got second, and just Max, he just ruins everything. He just ruins everything.
That's hilarious.
And he said it like multiple times, and I was like, dang. But yeah, would have been awesome for him to win at his home track, or at least get the podium at his home track.
It would, and you know what? He did.
He did, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that, and a side note, the picture we're looking at, what is the ad for?
Vegas, oh boy, it is.
So if you're, I noticed this when I was watching quali. If you're not an F1 fan and you're not really following along at what circuit they're at, you're going to see thousands, it looked like, of Visit Las Vegas sponsors all around the track.
Makes sense.
So if you're watching and it was the first race you ever watched, you went, oh, they're obviously in Vegas. Cool. This is the new F1 American Vegas Grand Prix. No, it's
No.
in Britain.
Yeah, no, it was not. The British did have a good time, though.
Yeah, there was a Brit P2, a Brit P3, a Brit P5. That's good showing for the Brits.
It was.
So P1 obviously finished as a Max Verstappen. That, again, is just not really even a question. But then you had P2. Of all the Brits, who do you think took P2?
Was it the McLaren?
It was.
Yes, it was.
It was Lando Norris in the McLaren. Took P2. Second place. Damn.
If you looked at this race on paper, it was Max starts pole, Lando starts second, and it finishes Max wins. Lando second. Though it wasn't actually like that the whole time.
Correct. It wasn't.
It was a little more
P3,
entertaining.
on the other hand, though, was another Brit. It was Mr. Lewis Hamilton.
Sir Lewis Hamilton, do you
Yes, Sir Lewis
Yes.
Hamilton. I forgot. He's knighted.
Right.
He's knighted for his whininess.
Yes, he was.
Yes. But, wow. So you had Red Bull, McLaren, Mercedes, McLaren P4,
Whoa.
then Mercedes P5,
Whoa.
then Checo, Sergio Perez, in the other Red Bull P6, Fernando Alonso, Aston Martin P7, wait for it, it gets better, Alex Albon in the Williams in a P8,
Whoa.
Williams points 2 weeks in a row,
That's crazy.
let's go. Then you had surprises, Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz in Ferraris P9 and 10.
Eek.
Come on, Ferrari, what are you doing?
Yikes.
But even then, so this next driver is not in the points, but very good drive from him, and I'm going to cheer for him every time. Logan Sargent, P11.
Whoa.
Logan Sargent, best finish yet, one position out of the points in his rookie season.
Dang.
In a Williams without the upgrades.
Dang. I want to see Sargent get some points this season. That'd be
Me
awesome.
too. He finished. So Logan Sargent finished above Valtteri Bottas, Nico Hulkenberg, Lance Stroll, Zhou Guanyu, Yuki Tsunoda, Nick DeVries, Pierre Gasly, Kevin Magnussen, Esteban Ocon. He finished above so many people.
Jeez.
Let's go, baby.
That's crazy.
America.
I heard a stat that Max Verstappen can finish second place for the rest of the season and still win the championship.
Yeah.
It's getting to that time where he almost will have the championship locked up.
At what time what is the record earliest to have the championship locked up? Do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I suspect we could get it this year.
I think it could happen this year.
Because he tied the record for the most consecutive wins from a manufacturer, which is at 11 now between McLaren and Red Bull.
Let me just quickly tell you in terms of points. So Max Verstappen, in not constructor, but in driver standings, he's got 255 points. Second place is Sergio Perez, 156 points, but that's not going to be much longer.
Nope.
Third place is still Fernando Alonso, 137 points. So the next real competition is Fernando Alonso in the Aston.
It's not even close to happening.
It's over 100-point spread.
The season is over, unfortunately, as far as the Drivers' Championship goes.
Yeah.
And the manufacturers, for that matter.
Yeah, realistically, just for shits and giggles, Constructor Championships, holy shit. Red Bull has 411 points. Mercedes is 203. 208-point gap.
They've doubled them.
200. They've over doubled them.
Oh, boy. That one is probably almost over, too.
No, that's definitely over.
Wow.
There's zero chance that Mercedes is going to come back.
Are we halfway through the season here?
We got to be close.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we got Hungary 1, 2, 3. We got we're pretty well halfway. We're almost half.
Okay. I wonder if by halfway the season will be over.
Yes, it is. No,
Like
you could have called this season by the first race.
I know practically it is now, but mathematically I think it will be in the next 2 or 3 races here.
Yeah, mathematically it will be over very soon.
Yes.
But yeah, that was the F1 British Grand Prix. We had Lando Norris in a McLaren take P2.
Good for
that
McLaren.
Is amazing.
Good for McLaren.
Yeah.
What else happened over the weekend, my friend?
So not so much the weekend, but the early week. There was some big news coming in F1 for one of my favorite drivers, Daniel Ricciardo. He is driving again.
He's back.
He's back, baby. The Honey Badger is back. Let's go.
But who's he replacing?
He's not replacing Checo Perez yet.
Oh.
That's not off the table yet. But he is replacing Nick DeVries in the AlphaTauri.
Oh.
Nick DeVries has had horrible showings.
He has not done well.
He's been horrible this year. So, yeah, AlphaTauri said goodbye and said to Red Bull, would you awfully mind we borrow this Honey Badger guy, see if he can't do some laps?
Okay.
So, Daniel Ricciardo is finishing the rest of the season for immediate effect with AlphaTauri, starting in Hungary.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And even more, that is something to just keep an eye on in the rumor mill. I heard that Daniel Ricciardo was doing some tire testing at Silverstone after all the teams are gone, and his lap times were about the same as the front row.
Oh. Okay.
Ooh.
That would be very interesting.
So is there a chance that Mr. Checo is driving for AlphaTauri? Or is driving for Champ Car? Or MX-5 Cup?
I don't know about this year, but next year, I'd swap them.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, according to the rumors I've heard, this is rumors, this is not verified, but the rumors have been said that when Danny Rick was doing those tire testing laps at Silverstone after everyone's gone, he was ripping up lap times that were eerily similar to front row lap times.
Good. Good for him. I want to see it.
Makes you ponder. Things
Yes, it
to
does.
ponder on.
I really hope we get Danny Rick back, and I hope he's in a top car
He
so that he
brings
can
such
battle.
a cool energy.
Yes, he
I
does.
love how American he is.
He really is.
He's the most American Australian I've ever met.
Yes, he
I've
is.
never met him, but I've ever seen, I should say.
He goes wild in Texas.
I want to have a beer with him.
He fits in.
I want to have 15 beers with him.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you can have a beer with Danny Rick. I feel like if you go to the bar with Danny Rick, you're not leaving until the bar is shut down.
Or you've drank beer out of everyone's shoes.
Absolutely.
Everyone's.
Why wouldn't you? It's a shoey.
That's what you do.
The shoey is back, baby.
That's what you do.
So that'll wrap up our F1 talk. Let's talk about IMSA, shall we?
IMSA, the International Motorsports Association.
Yes, it was the Chevrolet Grand Prix at CTMP, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park.
A.K.A. Mosport.
Yep.
Mosport. Yes, they were up in the north, the Great North.
Yes, the Great White
Canada.
North. Canada. Yeah.
Fun track, very hilly, a lot of elevation. Very
Is it kind of
flowy.
like a Canadian Mid-Ohio?
It's a Canadian Laguna Seca.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It doesn't quite have a corkscrew, but it has some of those like downhill hard corners where you're pushing the limit of the tire the whole time and you're kind of on the edge. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a fun track.
Cool.
It does make for some really good multi-class racing, which we had all of the classes except for LMP2.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Kind of really weird.
We had GTP, LMP3, GTD Pro, and GTD.
Just missing LMP2.
Odd.
Very odd. I would have expected LMP2 to be there, and then they had removed LMP3, but no, they did
of
it
the
other
ones
way.
that they saved, I'm surprised they saved LMP3 for this race.
Which means the dentists were in full force.
Oh, boy. Being standard dentists.
To be fair, not an easy car to drive, but yeah, they do get in the way.
The
it's fun to
LMP3s
watch.
were getting passed by GT traffic.
It's fun to watch.
It's ridiculous.
You know?
It's just chaos.
Full roadblock, baby. Let's go.
Yes. And then there was that one pass. Who was it? Gar Robinson, maybe? Someone in a P3 just shoved his way just through I think it was for the win, actually.
Yeah.
It was that he like totally leaned on the other car and just right through.
Full send in the final corner said, either we both die or you move out of the way and we both live. And he's like, okay, you go ahead. I'm going to try to not die.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah. So this makes for some fun multi-class racing. Overall, the race had some big incidents.
It did have some big incidents.
Yes. Two that I can particularly remember. One that was under yellow, which is never good.
Yeah. There was a bit of a safety concern. So we know that there is a procedure called the wave around.
It's a doozy.
The go around, or whatever you want to call it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is where you could potentially get your lap back under safety car conditions.
It's known as the lucky dog in NASCAR.
Yes. Well, that lends to traffic coming around the field at 1,287 miles per hour, precisely, under safety car conditions when you've got crews out working on the track, cleaning the track, and getting things ready to go green again. And there was a BMW GTP car that was trying to get its lap back doing the wave around and was hauling ass and ran right up behind the cleaning crew, locked it up, and kind of lost it.
Yeah.
He had to go off track just to not, and I don't say this metaphorically, to literally kill them.
Yeah, he would have hit the back of the pickup for sure. He would have smashed into it really good.
Like, hard.
Like, very hard, yeah. I don't know if it would have... I think it would have done a lot more damage to the BMW than them. But, yeah, it was not a good look for the BMW. I will say, if you wanted to do safety as much as possible, which racing is never safe. Let's be straight up about that.
It's true.
It's a dangerous thing to do in general. But if you wanted to be as safe as possible, you would not have the wave around.
Yeah.
I love the wave around from a fan's perspective. Mm-hmm. But being someone who has at least done the wave around in iRacing and understands how the mechanic work, it is dangerous inherently. Mm-hmm. Because the whole idea is you go by the leader or wherever the safety car is, and you have to hustle around to catch the back of the pack as fast as possible. And I mean as fast as possible, because when you get there, you want to be ready to pit. So if it takes you the whole time to get around and they are cycled back to the pits, then you have lost your chance to pit. So there is a time margin that you have, and you want to go as fast as possible in that time margin. Now, if you wanted to be as safe as possible, you would get rid of it, or you'd remove all track vehicles before you did the wave around. That's not how IMSA works. That's not how they're going to work. These things happen. It was kind of just poor driving on the BMW, to be honest.
Yeah, you got to know that that's coming.
Yep. And it was full lockup mode by him. So it seemed like he was either doing something on the wheel, looking around, doing something else, I don't know, and just lost the car.
Picking a booger, something.
Or was distracted doing something and then just lost the car and was surprised that there was track vehicles.
Just kind of looked up and went, oh, God.
Right. The team should have radioed in, hey, track cleaning equipment on, turn whatever it was. But apparently they didn't, and he went off.
Yeah, he had to make a last-ditch effort to not die.
Very spooky.
You mentioned two crashes. There's another one worth talking about that was in the GT field. It was between the WeatherTech Mercedes and the Heart of Racing Aston.
Yes.
That looked like a murder.
It was a murder.
Oof,
yes.
That looked like, now I'm sure real world, I don't know how intentional it was or not, but it sure did look like on the in-car or on the roof camera, it looked like that Mercedes gave it a little breath out. Just opened the hands just a little prematurely and just let the front of his car just dink.
Yep. It's an easy right-hander to have either understeer forward or the rear slide out, and you have to catch it back to the outside. But yeah, from our perspective, it looked like a murder.
No, it looked absolutely like a murder. I mean,
speaking of murders, the Acura murdered a Cadillac.
Was it the Acura or the BMW?
Oh, it was a BMW.
I think it was also another BMW.
A BMW murdered
This
a
is
Cadillac.
stereotypical BMW driving, isn't it?
Yeah, it kind of is.
It is. So around the last bit of the race, this was like the last, 5-10 minutes or so, there was a BMW and one of the Cadillac GTP cars that were battling.
Yes.
The yellow one. Is that the 01? The Renger van der Zande car?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Whichever one. It was Renger van der Zande's car, which is unfortunate. Yeah, the 01. Well, he was in a battle with BMW GTP, and the BMW looked as though he just kind of leaned on him a bit and just kind of forgot that the Cadillac was there and went just a little wide.
At the highest speed section of the track, you're going into the right-hander where the other murder was, but they were on corner entry, and it was pretty clear that the BMW would have known that the Cadillac was going for a move.
Should have.
And it just didn't look like he wanted to let the move happen. So he just scooted over, threw the Cadillac into the grass, and at that point he was
on ice.
Yeah, you're in the wall. There's nothing you can do. It's just lock the brakes up and hope it doesn't hurt.
Unfortunately, it was a really big hit.
It was a big hit.
It was head on.
Yeah.
And I mean, not like slightly head on, direct head on into the tire barriers there.
It was into tires, which is good.
Thank
If
God.
that was a metal or a safe, it wasn't like a tire wall, it's death.
Yeah, Renger,
It's
he'd be
death.
dead. He
Yeah.
would definitely be dead.
Right.
And was it Renger that lost it at Spa as well?
Yes.
Whew.
Yeah.
I wonder what's going through the mind of Renger van der Zande right now.
He's crashed a lot of Cadillacs. They haven't always been his fault, though.
You're right, but
He's crashed a lot of Cadillacs.
is he starting to get to the feeling of unluckiness with the car?
The Spa moment was bottoming out or mechanical failure. Something weird happened there.
But it was a big-ass moment.
Big crash, basically totaled the car.
He hasn't really had little crashes with the car. He's had
No.
really big moments.
To be fair, GTP cars in general don't have little moments.
Usually not, but these had really big moments.
Yeah.
Not big, but like really big. I mean, the crash at Spa and then the crash at CTMP were really kind of spine-tingling to watch.
Right.
You kind of watch it and go, ooh, that looks like that really hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Great race, though. Always fun to watch IMSA. Multi-class is fun. Creates for some good dynamics. Who took down the win?
The win went to an Acura, the number 60 car. That was Tom Blomqvist and Colin Braun. The second place, P2, was another Acura. That was the Wayne Taylor race there. Ricky Taylor, Felipe Albuquerque, number 10 car. Third place was a BMW, baby.
Whoa.
Weird to see BMW doing well-ish.
Back-to-back podium?
Yeah, I do have something to say.
Mm-hmm.
This is a horrible year to be a Porsche fan.
Hasn't gone well.
No.
Hasn't gone well.
The Porsche customer team finished above the Porsche factory team.
You got a Long Beach win. That's about it.
Ugh.
That's about it.
I mean, it's just not a fast car. P4 was the number 5 JDC Miller Porsche 963.
Yeah. They got some things to figure out with that car, and the GT car hasn't done wonders either.
Hasn't done great either. I mean, they've lucked into some decent finishes with the FAF Motorsports because I think they're just such a solid team with strategy.
Yeah.
Because they, in GTD Pro, you had P1 was the Corvette, Antonio Garcia, Jordan Taylor. P2 was the FAF Porsche, Klaus Bachler, Patrick Pile. P3 in GTD Pro was the Mercedes, the number 79 WeatherTech car. That was Daniel Juncadella and Jules Gounon. Yeah, that's... Side note, McLaren in GTD got a P2.
Oh, good for them.
It was a BMW, McLaren, Mercedes podium in GTD.
Porsche did win Watkins Glen and then lose Watkins Glen at the same time.
Yes.
So they haven't done
This is a horrible
bad.
year to be a Porsche fan. Everything that goes well sometimes also goes wrong.
Yeah.
Even the new GT car is crap. It's so slow.
They had teething pains on all their cars. You can't bring out new cars everywhere and expect them to do great the whole time.
When you have the reputation of Porsche, yes, you can. This isn't Van Wall.
Right.
This is a team that has numerous Le Mans wins and Formula One wins and every kind of racing except for pretty much NASCAR and drag racing wins.
Right. That'd be a sight.
At this point, they'd be better off doing that.
I like your take after Le Mans. Scrap the program.
We're going drag racing, boys.
Get rid of Penske. Scrap the program. We're moving on.
Oh, Jesus.
Here we come, Tony Stewart.
All right, let's move on to the WEC race. There was the 6 Hours of Monza, happened in Italy. That was the World Endurance Championship.
Yep.
What'd you think about that race?
Monza. Monza is watch the first lap. That's what Monza is. Because the first corner...
Watch the first lap, and then any laps following any kind of a safety car, but WEC doesn't do safety cars, so yeah.
Yeah, they will do a safety car if there's a big enough moment.
Well,
but yes.
yeah.
Most of the time it's the Code 60 or everybody slows down. First lap, first corner, great. Ferraris are spinning, Toyotas are punting people, everyone's going everywhere.
Porsche's
it's complete
dying.
chaos.
It's
chaos. Beautiful. It's just magic. After that, Monza kind of boring.
Well, yeah.
It reminds me, it's the equivalent of Daytona over here. Like you watch the Rolex 24 and kind of just going around the banking and the whole like NASCAR bit is boring. The
Kind of like when you saw Jordan Taylor take his hand off the wheel.
Yeah. And like go vroom.
Yeah.
Like he's literally bored in the race car.
Yes.
That's kind of how Monza feels, at least after driving it for 24 hours. Yeah, I don't know. It's an okay track. There was 6 hours of the WEC at Monza.
Okay.
The GTP cars, LMDH, whatever, what are they called over there?
They call them simply hypercar.
Oh, the hypercar, you're right. I can't even remember this. How are the fans supposed to remember this? Jeez. The hypercar class had a couple battles that were somewhat interesting. Toyota versus Ferrari, which this is Ferrari's home track.
It is.
The Tifosi were out in force, which are the Ferrari fans, for those who don't know. It was exciting to see the Ferraris battle Toyota up to the end of this race. There was some pit stop strategy and some cycling that was going on that was entertaining. I will say the Peugeot looked fairly strong.
It did do fairly strong.
I was shocked. Peugeot looked good.
The Peugeot, one of them, actually finished P3.
On the podium.
So that means it finished the race.
Good for them. Now, Monza
they needed that, yeah.
is a high-speed track. It's like long straightaway into really tight chicane. That's Monza for you. So if you do remove the wing, you go real fast, straight line.
It would be advantageous at this track.
It would be, yes. And they happened to do that, so they finished fairly well.
They did.
Who else finished on the podium?
So first place was a Toyota. It was unfortunately not the Ferrari at home track. It was Toyota, Ferrari, Peugeot was P1, 2, 3. Then, just so that we're all aware, P4 was another Toyota, but they were not on the lead lap.
Okay.
Only the top 3 were at lead lap. Again, this was really difficult to be a Porsche fan this year. Because a Peugeot finished above you.
Yikes.
You didn't even finish on the lead lap. Come on, guys. Jesus.
Where did Cadillac finish?
Not well.
Oh.
Cadillac finished below Glickenhaus.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Cadillac was P10.
They must have had issues.
They were 2 laps down.
Yeah. Okay.
Oof.
Overall, solid racing. What about in GT?
GT, let's see. I believe we had...
I believe it was Corvette taking the win.
I thought it was, but I'm not seeing Corvette in here for some reason. Where is Corvette? Where are you? Are you that far ahead of everyone? Well, I must find this.
Corvette should be the winner.
Yeah, according to these may be unofficial results. But yes.
Interesting. Okay. I believe that they did take down the win in their class, which is good to see for them. And I believe that they've also locked up the championship, if I recall.
Yes, Corvette did win, and they did lock up the championship.
So I saw that they were partying.
Yes, they have officially won the championship.
Good. Good for them. WEC is good, but I will say viewership falls off drastically after Le Mans. Per usual, I don't know.
Actually, no, pardon me. The Porsche won, but Corvette won the season because of points.
Okay.
So it was actually finished by the Dempsey Proton Racing Porsche. Julian Anlauer did win.
There you go. There's your Porsche win.
That's a car that's from 2019.
Yeah, and you love it.
To death.
It's loud. It's obnoxious.
The new one isn't quite as loud, but yes.
Right.
But yes. So, okay, I am looking at this correctly. This was a Porsche win. Actually, a lot of Porsches finished well.
Oh.
It was Porsche podium.
Oh.
But they're all old, so none of the new Porsches are good.
Yeah, that's
Porsche needs to go backwards. We must go back.
And everyone else goes forward?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm fine with this.
All right.
I'm fine with this. This is a good deal.
What races do we got coming up?
This weekend, there's not a lot of really exciting stuff. There's NASCAR is racing at New Hampshire. Let's see. We got IndyCar racing Toronto, and then the ELMS, the European Le Mans Series at Le Castellet.
Le Castellet. Yes. I like saying that name.
It is a fun name to say.
Yes, it is.
And that's very pretty track to look at, but kind of boring in my opinion
Yes.
because of all the paint.
Yes.
They have all the fancy blue
Is
paint.
Indy at the streets of Toronto?
Good question.
What track are they in at Toronto? I don't.
Well, let's find out.
I do know that there is
streets.
Oh, okay.
Would appear to be so. It would be,
Cool.
It's Toronto's premier motorsports festival.
Sweet.
Wow.
Sweet.
Which means that'll be chaos.
Yes, it will. One other little bit of NASCAR news that I heard: Trackhouse Racing, which is the team that had the Hail Melon moment, where Ross Chastain went around the wall, and it's also the team that had Shane Van Gisbergen win at Chicago. Got a sponsorship of Busch Light beer.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So next time Kimi Räikkönen races, he can chug Busch Light as soon as he gets out of the car.
I think so.
I want to see that.
And they stole that sponsorship from, I think it was like Hendrick or something like that. One of the big teams. So kind of interesting to see an up-and-coming team taking some money from some bigger teams. Yep.
Love that.
Pretty neat.
So that's all I've got for episode 240. You got anything else?
Nope.
It's going to wrap us up then. Thanks so much for watching and listening. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. Leave a thumbs up on the video and drop a comment. Let us know what you thought about the F1 British Grand Prix as well as Danny Ricciardo getting a seat again. I know we're super stoked for that. If you're listening on audio only, send us those thoughts via social. Facebook is We Are Auto, Instagram is We Are Auto _, YouTube is We Are Auto, and our website is weareauto.io. So, thanks again. Catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.